Welcome to wesleygospel.com. This is going to be a screening for growth stocks 2. We are right on the edge of Martin Luther King Jr. Winding down. It was yesterday. That means the stock market was closed, and it's the day after. So I think that things are going to be to where I can actually deposit my money in my first growth stock, and I'm very excited about it. Sort of anxious, sort of edgy about it, but more so excited because I have a relatively high degree of confidence based off of all this analysis that I've been doing in the past several months, and now I get to finally put my money where my mouth is. I did one final last process of analysis last night that helped me to sort through all of the stock picks that I've done, that I've accumulated off of Value Line and off of FinViz. Most of the growth stocks come off of have come off of FinViz, the technical tab, the performance fields. But I did have one that came off of Value Line in December of last year. This was 1 month ago. They had, see, Value Line accumulates stock data over the course of 12 months and then resets it after the new year. So that's kind of bad because you could have had some really good stock information, some good stock yields, and now all of a sudden they get put down to nothing. So I'm thankful that I was able to use Value Line to find 9 Energy Services because it's still a super stock. And so I'm gonna now there's 3 stock picks that I have now that I'm going to consider first place, second place, and third place. They are the following: Nine Energy Services, NINE, Madrigal Pharmaceuticals, MDGL, and Broadwind Energy, BWEN. If you type those 3 into the barchart.com compare stocks feature, that is a really, really helpful feature that helped me to sort through all of my stock picks. I think I had something like 25 stock picks for growth stocks. That, if you look at the columns in on the compare stocks feature barchart.com, it will analyze the charts and all the chart data, all the historical performance data of each individual stock, and give you buy and sell recommendations. It is so awesome. It's so helpful for decision making about stocks. About if you, it's one thing to do a bunch of analysis. It's one thing to do a bunch of reading. It's another thing to get to this termination point where you're actually ready to purchase a stock. And this is where barchart.com can come in and be really helpful. Barchart compare stocks feature. All you have to do is go on Google, type in barchart compare stocks, and you will be able to put in, I think, as many as 5 stocks, maybe 6 or 7 stocks at a time. And I just like to have my top 3. And I've got them as green, 100% buy, 100% buy. I've got the 5-day, 1 month, and 3 month and 6 month performance histories for each of them. And that gives you the ROI percentages in green. So I'm really positive. 9 is in the 300 and 600% range for the 3 month and 6 month projection. Madrigal is in the 300% range for both the 1 month, 3 month, and 6 month projections. And Broadwind Energy is in the 200% range for all projections, 5-day, 1 month, 3 month, and 6 month. Now, I consider these kind of like a spectrum. And the good news about this is that you can also visualize this into a chart. They will chart it for you. There's a charting button on there as well. And this allows you to create a spectrum of low risk to high risk. These 3 stocks are powerful growth stocks. I would have to say they're the top 3 in the stock market right now, as far as my analysis is concerned. And just in terms of just the the tripling of the money projections that are coming off of these things. But I will say this though, based off of what bar chart has showed me and made so plain and simple for me, um, it makes me believe that 9 is more of a long-term, low-risk, high-producing growth stock, which means that you can hang on to 9 for the entire year and it will produce steady growth and steady price appreciation for you. It's an oil company. Um, the second one would be Madrigal, and that one's kind of like pushing it more into the risk category. But the good news about Madrigal is that it has the potential to grow faster than 9 does. Then lastly, you've got BWEN, which is the Broadwind Energy. And that's, to me, that's pushing it into an even higher level of risk, but a shorter waiting time. So if you're really, really impatient and you want to get some returns right away and you want to risk it, put some money into BWEN and just wait a couple weeks and see what happens. So I view 9 as more of a long-term trade. I view Madrigal as sort of a middle of the road type of a trade. And I see BWEN as like a short, impatient McDonald's give me my money right now trade, like a fast food stock. But of course, when you focus on a fast food stock, that again, I'm not talking about day trading. I'm not talking about trading stuff within 24 hours. I'm talking at the very least 1 week, at the very least. Um, and but to have a spectrum like that, I say invest in all three of them at the same time. And then you can make transfers if one of them you feel is going to be doing better than the other one. You can make transfers. For example, if you have too many shares in 9 and you want to transfer a few over to Madrigal, you can do that. They're all in your stock portfolio, right? They're all in your brokerage account on Schwab.com, right? So that's where I'm at right now. Thanks to barchart.com's compare stocks feature, a lot of my anxiousness has been removed because they give you such clear, in your face buy and sell recommendations, giving you these 100%, 200%, and 300% green ROI percentages in the columns. It's an extremely organized and easy to read way of organizing the stock data. Very, very great. And then just being able to get to the point where you're like, I'm going to make a decision on this and buy this. Lastly, I'm going to also recommend that if you ever get to the point where bar chart has persuaded you to buy a stock, which I hope you do, um, one last thing you should do for extra confirmation, even more confirmation. Go on Google and type in your top 2 stocks or your top 3 stocks on Google and look for the news. I think there is a news tab on Google after you search something. So say you type in 9 energy service stock, 9 stock. You type that into Google, and I think there's a news tab at the top. Click news, and it'll pull up a whole bunch of business articles, and it'll say 9 energy service outpaces the stock market gains. Zacks. It'll say stock ratings reaffirmed. Broadwind Energy stock jumps to 27%. Broadwind stock soared 85%. And so these are news articles validating you're on the right track. These are good stocks. Sure, you'd want to buy them. So to have not only the testimony of the bar charts compare stocks by recommendations, but to also have the testimony of business articles off of Google telling you, yeah, these are good thumbs up stocks. That should give you all the confidence you'll need to be able to finally put your money where your mouth is and sit and wait. That's the hard part. Sit and wait, I think. I would say at least a week, at least. Um, Charles Schwab, he recommends monthly. He recommends to take emotion out of the equation, don't look at your site any more than just once a month. But then again, he's a mutual fund guy. I mean, he believes that individual common stocks are the way to financial growth, but at the same time, he admits, I've never done it before. Why is that? Because Charles Schwab, Dave Ramsey, and Larry Burkett, they all have books on investing, but it seems that the lion's share of their money comes from their businesses, not from investing in stocks, right? Charles Schwab's the owner of Charles Schwab Corporation. His money comes off the fact that people are signing up on his website. Larry Burkett, he had a investment firm. Most of his money came from the fact that he was a counselor, not from a stock investor. Dave Ramsey has this radio program that he makes money from, and he's a real estate investor and salesman. That's where most of Dave Ramsey's money comes from. So although these guys all have thoughts about the stock market, they're not really stock market gurus, believe it or not. Even Charles Schwab's not a stock market guru. He says so in his book, How to Be a Stockbroker. Most of what Charles Schwab is telling you is don't go to Merrill Lynch and be bamboozled by some broker. Join Charles Schwab and you can make your own decisions. And then he just says, yeah, just buy mutual funds. In other words, he never tells you how to read a stock chart. You know, it's helpful. How to read a stockbroker, read it. If you want, I wouldn't make that like your top 3 book, but you know, he, like so many other conservative investors, have never really reached that point where it's like, I know how to invest in individual growth stocks successfully. There's a lot of people that just have not pushed themselves hard enough to read as much books as they need to read to get definite answers about this thing. And that's what made me find Common Stocks and Uncommon Profits by Philip Fisher. I believe this is going to be the next book for me to really unfold the growth stock methodology. And some people have said that T. Rowe Price is the person who quoted the phrase growth stock. And there is a book about him as well. And there's a chapter in that book. The book is called T. Rowe Price. And in that book, there's a chapter called The Growth Stock Philosophy. So there might be some answers there that I haven't been able to see in these general investment books, because these guys do hop, skips, and jumps all over the place, and oftentimes don't even get even to the most simple, the most basic element of how to read a stock chart. So Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger are considered the world's greatest investors, and they look at Philip Fisher and Benjamin Graham on equal playing field. Benjamin Graham's Intelligent Investor is more about dividend stocks, and apparently Philip Fisher's Common Stocks and Uncommon Profits is the growth stock book. So I'm looking to balance myself out in that area. But I think I know enough about growth stocks at this point to at least put a small deposit amount into these 3. And based off of these tools, bar chart compare stocks, and taking stuff off of Value Line and Finviz. Finviz has a good page also called the Top Gainers page. If you can find it and get yourself onto that, you can arrange these stocks according to their ROIs by weekly, monthly, and quarterly. Very useful, I think. And then also the Google News articles. If you're getting all these things pointing you to the stock, that's really honestly all the information you need. Of course, the Google stock charts as well, examining their projections off of those. Well, God bless you out there. This is John with WesleyGospel.com.